Rachel RUECSH is pretty much my hero. Not only was she incredibly talented in her technical painting skills, she also looked beneath the perceived beauty of florals and drew us into the complete and accurate vision of a life cycle, including raggedy, torn leaves, droopy, withering petals, and insect-bitten and decaying parts. She was a lady who knew that there was more to beauty than meets the eye. As a mom of 10 in 1600s Holland, she painted with realism. She understands the not-so-pretty aspects of life, those bits that no one wants to talk about in the age of artistic realism, of perfectly executed portraits and paintings. Rachel knew there was a poopy diaper on one of her adorable kids, and there was a worm-eaten apple in the still life she was about to paint. She likely fed her children with paint on her hands while executing the most realistic Dutch floral still lifes at a time when men dominated the art world. I love how Rachel did it all, a talented artist and businesswoman whose paintings commanded more than Renoir's. She did it while she was a wife and a mother of 10. She did it in the 1600s when, no doubt, she had to paint by candlelight after the kids were in bed. Now that I've sketched out my tabletop and my vase, I'm going to paint in the background with a mix of Debbie's DIY paints to create a moody, dark background. Here I'm adding some shading to that vase. The first thing that I like to do when I get a transfer that has multiple pieces and parts is I like to cut them apart and then put them into different categories. There are 8 sheets of beautiful florals here so that you can build your own floral bouquet together, or I'll put like subject matter or colors together. Now I'm going to create a chinoiserie porcelain looking vase right here. And I am going to be using my favorite Bohemia stamp along with IOD's China Blue ink. This is going to be very muted in the background. And I'm tipping my stamp in sections to get that more of a rounded shape. Now I'm going to blot with a little bit of paper towel just to soften that a bit, kind of bending and pressing as I go, just a little section at a time. Once my ink and my paint are completely dry, I'm going to go over this with a coat of clear polyacrylic sealer. Once it's dried completely, is going to allow for better adhesion of my transfers onto my project. Once everything's dried, now I get to build that beautiful, voluptuous bouquet in this porcelain bowl. I'm going to refer to some of these paintings from the 1600s Dutch masters and see if I can get some ideas for a layout. That's pretty, and it's on that table edge or book edge, so I think I might refer to this or perhaps to this. So I'll play around with this design to figure out just how I want this layout. I like to do a dry fit. That way I can arrange and rearrange my transfer pieces. So once I have my initial layout, I want to start applying my transfers. You may find it easier to cut out and around each of your transfer flowers, and it may give you a better idea of your placement. To get rid of all of this white space is going to make a big difference in how I decide on my final composition.
One of the things I find most helpful when I'm layering transfers is to apply a little piece of rolled tape behind each element just to hold them in place. Then I can lift them away as I get to them without disrupting my composition too much.
So I have everything kind of taped in place, and what I'll do is I'll work from the back layers first and move upward.
Of course, just because I've taped them down doesn't mean they're set in stone, and I am apt to change my mind about 5 different times before finishing. While you're here, I just want to thank you so much for watching this video and following along with L&J Goods. We appreciate that you choose to spend your time with us.
So in the true style of the Dutch floral painters like Rachel, it showed all manner of decay, the natural process that occurs. And so I don't worry up here if I have missed a little part of my transfer. I'm going to use my scraper to create even more texture and more tattered edges, just like you would find a tulip coming to the end of its life cycle in the garden. There may be insect damage here and there, and so I want to represent that as well.
Next, I'll begin to add some of those little floral details and smaller elements that are in the Collage de Fleurs transfers. Once I have all my transfers applied, I'm going to burnish them to make sure that I have complete adhesion of each transfer to the surface. Now in the true style of Rachel, I'm going to add some insects, lots of insects, and hide them within my arrangement and around the arrangement. The IOD MILLOT'S Pages transfer is perfect for this application. When I'm done, I'm going to save all of those cut elements in a clear plastic envelope to hold them all together for my next project with Collage de Fleurs. As a finishing touch, I'm using the IOD Vintage Textures Crackle Stamp and some turmeric ink to add some crackle texture over my painting. Oh, how I love this moody, dark, and beautiful representation of those old Dutch masters like Rachel RUECSH. I hope that you are just as inspired by this beautiful transfer, Collage de Fleurs by Iron Orchid Designs. You'll find everything I used in the description box below at lnjgoods.com and at our brick and mortar shop in Medina, New York.
I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking with you.